stream KTVU News anytime. Fox Local available on all your streaming devices after recently adding Samsung TVs. Scan the QR code right on your screen right now, or you can search on the Fox Local app, then select KTVU. Stick around for Take Two. More cats coming up.
Kitty.
Everyone, I'm your host this hour, Allie Rasmus. Actually, half hour. Let's not give ourselves some extra work. I have
and I'm here at
Frank
noon,
Malicote and Sal Castaneda, my colleagues on Mornings on 2 to 9. Take Two, the show after the show, of course, where we dive deeper into some of the topics we touched on during the regular broadcast show. And one of the big stories this morning, Outside Lands Music Festival kicks off this weekend. James Torres has been out there this morning where the first people just started lining up so that they can get those primo spots. I think we have James out in the field for us. James, what is it like out there? Those first people, did they already get let in? I don't see a line behind you anymore, although this morning there were some campers out there.
No, I just might be out of the frame here. The first question you're probably going to ask is, why? Why are you here so early in the morning? I mean, the gates here don't open until 11 o'clock, and some of these people were here before 7 o'clock this morning. And I always wondered, even if you were the 100th person in line walking into a giant festival like Outside Lands and a giant park like Golden Gate Park, you're still going to get to go where you needed to go. And I asked that question. I brought this point up to some of the people here, and they said this is still just the spirit of how Outside Lands goes. They want to get here early. They want to make the most of it, which makes sense because tickets were pretty expensive. So if you want to spend every minute possible here to get your money's worth, I totally can see and understand that. We got about 250,000 people who are going to be coming out to Golden Gate Park for the entire weekend. Of course, it's a 3-day festival, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Headliners include Doja Cat tonight. We'll see Tyler, the Creator, who was supposed to be on set last year. He dropped out very last minute. Sabrina Carpenter ended up swooping in last minute. So Tyler, the Creator, making an appearance back this year. And then Hozier is going to be the Sunday night headliner. You'll also see acts like Doechii tonight. John Summit's going to be on stage here too. So a wide variety of music and artists. More than 100 artists for the entire weekend on 7 different stages. They're getting real creative with the food. I heard something about octopus tacos with mango curry on it. Have no idea what that could possibly taste like, but if you're coming out here, that will be an option for you to try. I also had a chance to talk to the CEO of SF Travel, who monitors a lot of these events and what it looks like, the kind of impact that it looks like throughout the rest of the city. She tells me that international tourism, tourism coming in from places all over the world, That's actually been down this summer. It's not looking the same as it has in past years. But the Dead & Company concert last weekend really boosted up their numbers, bringing their hotel occupancy to about 90% full for that entire weekend. You had people coming in from all 50 states, more than 30 countries. Obviously not to the same degree this weekend here, but she did tell me that the economic impact of Outside Lands this year, this weekend, which is on the same weekend as last year, is up about 12%. So all things moving in the right direction in terms of trying to get these events to continue growing and to make sure the city of San Francisco also keeps growing.
Yeah, I'm struck by just how much economic impact something like this brings. And when you think about every weekend, it seems like there's a big festival or concert happening in San Francisco.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that's what August was supposed to be about. That's what Mayor Daniel Lurie really wanted to do. The Dead & Company, of course, that was celebrating the 60th anniversary of the band. Outside Lands is always just about this weekend every year. Then they decided to add a nice little touch and kind of bow tie it off next weekend with a Zach Bryan concert in the Kings of Leon. I think on the air earlier this morning, I said it was a Luke Bryan concert. Any Luke Bryan fans, I'm so sorry. He was not coming to San Francisco.
That's okay.
Zach Bryan.
You got a lot of names and musicians to try and commit to memory, so we forgive you for that.
So the big question is, James,
yeah, but you know, you hear one. You know, if you're a fan of one, you hear one, and that's when your ears perk. So I just want to.
So
take the moment,
I was
admit
trying
the
to look
mistake,
at the
make it
lineup.
very
There's
clear.
a lot of people
It
on
is
this
Zach
lineup.
Bryan here.
Yeah, 100 different artists.
So are you staying or are you coming back?
To
work? Are you gonna participate?
Are you going to take advantage of being first in line?
You know, I'm not a big music festival guy myself. I like individual concerts. I like arena stuff.
I hear that.
I mean, this kind of stuff, of course, is always a lot of fun, and it's a great opportunity to get a real good taste of a bunch of different types of music. Nice way to get yourself introduced to bands and artists that you've never heard of before. A lot of these people here, probably somewhere between 5 to 10 years younger than me, have mentioned artists that I've never heard of before. And then you see artists on the list that you absolutely have heard of before. I think, Sal, you might have mentioned it in the last year or two that you start recognizing fewer and fewer artist names every time we have an Outside Lands list that comes out.
But you know what's really cool is they have those small stages on the side where they have the smaller artists, James. Those are really cool because you will go there, and I've gone there, and like all of a sudden I didn't know who these people were. I see a set, I like them, and now I'm a fan.
There you go.
Well, and then if you don't recognize the names for Outside Lands, just wait till you see the lineup for Hardly Strictly, and then you'll recognize more of those. I would guess, at least I do.
Yeah.
So
you know, these guys too, they try to, certain bands try to replicate certain sounds of even bigger bands. For instance, there was a woman who's in line right now. She's here to see a band called Almost Monday, based out of San Diego. I'd never heard of them before, but I checked out some of their songs. They used to open for Alt J, and so they replicate some of their songs to sound a lot like Alt J to capture that audience. So if you like music like that, you're probably gonna hear them out here and think, oh, maybe let me take a couple minutes and spend some time at their stage and see if I like them. And you might.
All right. James Torres, live for us at Outside Lands Music Festival. Hey, it's nice to note that there's sunshine there already. No fog for the folks out there.
Oh, yeah, it took a minute to get there, but yeah, blue skies now.
And
all right.
quickly, James, there it is. How about parking? I mean, Golden Gate Park, that's a mess, right? Getting out there.
Just doesn't exist. Just doesn't exist. Yeah, that's
don't even
not a
try
thing
it.
on Outside Land. Honestly, it's not going to be a thing at Golden Gate Park for probably the entire month of August. So I've been talking to people out here all morning, just casual conversation. There's really no point to bring a car anywhere near this area unless you really have to, or unless you're taking a Lyft or an Uber out here. But even then, those rideshare services are probably going to be pricey. So rely on your Muni, rely on the e-bikes, the rental scooters, all of that. Any other way you can get here other than driving, because that is just going to be more trouble than it's worth.
Well, I think they've got shuttles too from the Cow Palace and one from Civic Center. The BART station. So you have plenty of opportunity.
All right, James, we got to take a quick break, but thanks for filling us in on all of that. More Take Two in just a second. Welcome back to Take Two. Another big story we've been following today on Mornings on 2 is an upcoming closure this weekend on 680 in the Fremont area. And we have Devin Truby, who's been out there this morning talking about it. What's the work that they're doing and what's the best way to get around it?
Yeah, good morning, Allie. All good questions. It is a big rehabilitation project, this 55-hour closure, taking up the entire weekend from starting 8 p.m. tonight, 680 northbound. Go ahead and take a look. There's the on-ramp there. We're at Mission Boulevard right now. So it's going to be the overpass and several on-ramps for 680 northbound in Fremont. We're at Mission Boulevard right now. You're going to see 8 p.m. lanes start to get to smaller and smaller and smaller. 10 p.m. full closure, lasting the whole weekend until Monday at 5 a.m. for the morning commute. That's when they kind of plan to reopen things. Detours, let's talk about that. If you are on 680, you're going to get funneled off to 238, and that is a one-lane funnel based on what we saw the past 2 weekends ago when there was a similar work here in the area. Now, that 238, that can take you up. You can go through Niles, and you can cut over through onto Sunol, but majority of your time should be spent on 880 this weekend if you are going to travel anywhere. That is what Caltrans is asking. It's a rehabilitation project, so we can see the overpass is over there. And basically what they're doing is they're replacing the shocks, very similar to how you replace the shocks in your car. These are all the things that absorb the weight of vehicles and also the temperature to keep the overpass, the asphalt, all of that intact. So discovered during routine maintenance that, hey, it's time to switch them out, and this is the work that's being done so far.
So, Devin, I know they did some work a couple of weeks ago, and they actually opened up a little bit sooner. Is this to complete all of it, or will we be seeing this again in a couple of weeks?
Right. So if you look at the orange signs, it does say intermittent closures all the way through October is what is listed on the sign. So in terms of what's going to happen, whether there's more on-ramp work or different things like that, that's what the project sign says that we know about right now. I think it is good news that they did end up reopening early 2 weeks ago. Just shows you kind of the dedication that Caltrans has to getting the work done. Some people saying, you know, not a great time. This is the last weekend before kids go back to school for the Fremont Unified School District. So a lot of parents, a lot of kids going to be out and about, those last minute school supplies, doing the big grocery haul before having to pack the lunches and things like that. But you know, kind of pick your poison. Did you want to have the closure during summer? Did you want it now? Did you want it during the school year? Caltrans recognizes there's never a great time to close a freeway, but they said that this is the fastest way to do it. If they didn't do this one whole weekend and do it all in one shot, then they would have to do 130 nights, Monday through Friday. So when everyone is commuting at all of their different times, they would have to do closures and they'd have to do less lanes. So I think that would be even more of a headache potentially than just first weekend. I guess that's your personal preference. See which one you like, one weekend or 130 days. Take your pick there. So again, Caltrans is trying to kind of make the most of this, get all the work done as quickly as possible.
Yeah, anytime you close down one major highway like 680, it's going to affect people really throughout the Bay Area because all that traffic that would have taken that stretch is going to get shifted over to 880. All right, Devin, thanks for that update. Thanks for keeping us informed. Something for folks to be aware of over the next coming weekend, actually.
Stay away.
Yeah, and speaking of weekend, it is going to be a warm one this weekend. We have a poll question about how people are going to stay cool. I don't know if we can bring that up, but we know that the options were AC, pool, ocean. Frank, what's your choice?
I mentioned to Steve during the show that I'd probably go down to Santa Cruz or go to the beach, but I think the beach is still going to be a little bit foggy. But inland, you know, we haven't had 100 degrees. I've said this a number of times. There's a beautiful shot of Mount Diablo. I was in Brentwood a week and a half ago with a Delta breeze in the 70s. I'm like, what the heck's going on here? It's, you know, the first week of August, but they're going to get hot today, especially. I think today is the hottest day. As Steve would say, hitting a C note, and mostly inland, you know, Lafayette, Moraga, all those areas out there are going to be nice and warm. And then cool down a little bit after that.
Yeah,
but we're due. We're due.
All the weekends, I was hoping this weekend was going to stay cool and not be hot because of soccer tournament happening in Pleasanton. That doesn't really sound very pleasant.
You're going to get warm down there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, at least we have a little bit of a warm-up. I mean, we've been waiting for it all summer. We've been reporting this has been one of the coolest summers on record in decades. It's for San Francisco and even the inland areas, depending on where you live. So nice live shot there of the Oakland estuary just outside our KTVU studios. In fact, those apartments in the bottom right of the corner are just outside the door. You can see outside the windows from where we are.
By the way, a little factoid, coldest July in the Bay Area since 1982.
And then I heard for San Francisco, it's the coldest since the 60s. So it's, you know, we have those microclimates. So just bottom line, it's been pretty chilly.
You know, we've been complaining, at least I have been, on the weekends, because, you know, every day's foggy. We're using windshield wipers to get into work in the middle of July and August. So I think a little bit of a heat wave will be nice, even though it's only going to be 100-degree day. But we'll be in the 90s inland, and that's a beautiful shot.
I will never complain about the fog and the cooler weather, because I don't like it when it gets above 80 degrees. That's not fun for me.
That's not fun for you.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm a Bay Area kid. I need that fog, that natural air conditioning. We want to talk a little bit more on Take Two. We're going to be talking about another story that KTVU has covered extensively. Our friend and colleague Lisa Fernandez has been part of this story. This is on the FCI Dublin arrests. Lisa's here. Hi. To tell us about it. But first, before we talk about it, though, we're going to take a quick break on Take Two, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Take Two, where we talk about some of the stories we've been following throughout Mornings on 2, and gives us a chance to kind of talk more about the behind-the-scenes elements, maybe details that we can't get into or don't have time to get into during our traditional news broadcast. One of those stories is the ongoing situation with the FCI Dublin prison. Now, there were 2 more correctional officers who pled guilty to sexual assault charges. My colleague and friend Lisa Fernandez has been covering this for years. You have really been very involved in the coverage of this, won multiple awards for your coverage of this story. What's the latest with these 2 additional
3
officers?
years, I'll just say, just so we know, 3 years.
Multiple years.
The latest was these 2 prison officers
pleaded guilty yesterday in federal court. And it's, you know, they were charged and pled guilty on the same day, which indicates to me that there was some kind of discussion with the prosecutors and the defense attorneys, like, let's just make this happen on one day. Often when you go to court, it's that you plead not guilty, then they return, and either they... So there was some kind of something worked out. And what struck me is kind of two things. There's no cameras allowed in federal courtroom. So, you know, you'd have to actually go and sit there to see what's going on. And often demeanor and who shows up in the court, it paints a picture of what happened. So we were unable to get pictures of the officers. They kind of snuck out the back door through a rotunda. But to see them very, I think the word is contrite in front of court. Yes, Your Honor. No, Your Honor. And there's a picture of all 10 of them. We're missing a couple pictures of the 3 guys we missed. They're just very contrite and very polite. It's hard to picture what happened because they were told to read what they did aloud. And
in court.
In court. The judge says, I need you to read this aloud.
And how did their demeanor change? Were they visibly embarrassed?
No, they weren't. They didn't seem embarrassed to me. They were just reading off of like a piece of paper. I didn't see any shame or embarrassment. They just were reading it very pro forma, which is just weird to hear someone say, I probably can't say what.
Were some of the victims?
Yeah, what are they accused of?
No victims were there. They will, one woman will be there at sentencing, although when I talked to, so it's kind of complicated. One man, Jeffrey Wilson, was charged with 5 sexual abuse contacts with one woman, CS.
The same woman?
The same woman.
Is this the woman who went in for just like a regular medical procedure to get some sort of injection?
So this guy was a paramedic, so yes, but the woman we saw on TV was another woman. So I was going to explain that. So he was charged for one woman, but at least 8 other women say that they were his victims too. We talked to 2 of them for television yesterday, but they're not officially part of this complaint.
I see. So for whatever reason, prosecutors couldn't find enough evidence to charge him in connection with those women.
Or decided not to. Either one.
They did charge him with one woman, but the other women who said they were also victims came out and said, hey, here's what we think this guy did to us.
And to sort of to bolster their stories, like the 2 women we saw on TV, Darlene and Asia, there was a massive $116 settlement against the Bureau of Prisons for the abuse of 100 women. These 2 women, Darlene and Asia, got $1 million from that. So even though they weren't part of the criminal case, they were
part of a settlement.
Part of the settlement. So anyway,
one of the women, I mean, the interview was really compelling and really terrifying. The woman describes going in for like a medical procedure, and then the guy locked both doors and locked her in.
That's Darlene. Yes.
Okay.
And she's become a very vocal spokesperson. She's now out of prison, and they've become activists after this.
What do they face? The
15. Jeffrey Wilson, 15 years for the sex crimes and 8 years for lying.
And when sentencing?
November 6th and November 19th for the 2 different people.
I believe we have Darlene's soundbite that was used. I don't. Maybe I'll get a cue from Ken if that comes up. We're trying to pull her soundbite because it was very compelling, and I mean that's one of the important things. Let's take a listen.
He surprised me by locking both the front door and the back door, and then violently assaulted me. That lasted for quite a period of time.
I understand that he pled guilty, but I don't know if he actually truly understands that what he did will reverberate in our lives and the lives of everyone in our communities forever.
That's chilling because they talk about the impact.
That was Asia, and that's what, you know, all the women I talk to say, like, they're haunted by this. This is sexual assault, and despite getting out of prison, despite therapy, despite money, they still are traumatized. And what I learned from attending all these court hearings is that it means so much to them when these officers plead guilty or at sentencing might apologize. Sometimes they apologize to get a more lenient sentence, and I know this because the judge had said to the warden, if you don't apologize, I'm going to go hardcore with you, and so you better apologize. So she told him, and he did. And so the women behind me in the courtroom was like, oh my God, I'd never thought I'd hear him say that. Even if it wasn't to them directly, to hear this person in power who controlled their lives apologize, I'm sorry, it meant so much.
Especially this person who had so much authority and power over the women when they were in prison. When did this prison close?
2024. April.
And the charges and the arrests keep coming. When does it end?
These two were a surprise to me, a total surprise. I've never heard anything about these two men. I've heard whispers of these two guys were a surprise.
The initial
Do you expect more?
Yeah, maybe.
How many women were assaulted in that prison, you said? Over 100?
I mean, all I can say is that 103 women got about $1 million each from this.
103 women.
And was it more than 3 guards?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's been 10 who have been now charged as part of the criminal, and then there's some other ones that have been mentioned.
Oh, there is the picture you were talking about. Those are the 10 who have been charged. Charged and convicted, or charged both?
So 9 are now convicted.
Okay.
1, Daryl Wayne, Dirty Dick Smith, he is the only one to have not been convicted. He is going towards his 2nd trial in September. Everyone else is now convicted of a crime. Most have been sentenced to prison already, except for these last 2 who just pleaded yesterday. So 7 have been sentenced to prison already, including the warden.
And so this story really could continue.
Going. Yes.
Keeps going.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to go off topic, outside lands, and you've got a daughter that's going to the show.
She's going. She's 22, and I just want to say a little story. When she was 14, a freshman in high school, she went to First Outline Lands. I was petrified as a mother to send my daughter into what I thought was a mosh pit, scary. So I scored a media pass. I did work for KTVU, but I was also spying on her. And the second I got there, I realized this is a safe environment. There's bathrooms, there's tons of water stations, there's security, it's really tight, so I felt really comfortable. And as soon as I'm like, this is safe, I left her, and I walked around and enjoyed the concert. I saw Lizzo for the first time before she was Lizzo, and I was texting my daughter, I'm like, get over here to the stage. There's this really great performer, and she was too embarrassed of me at that point.
What are you doing here, Mom?
She never saw Lizzo because she couldn't be seen with me. So sorry, Mila.
She's going to see it all tonight.
Well, I hope Mila and everyone who's at Outside Lands has a great time, and we'll continue to cover it. Thanks for watching Take 2. We'll see you guys next time.
All right, that's my alarm to turn off Take 2 downstairs.